Kim. Do we have one for people that are gonna?
No, your first meeting's in January.
Hey, do we have one for somebody that's gonna sit there, or people that are gonna sit there? Are we missing one? Is there normally another one?
3, 4, 5, yeah, there's 7. Oh, there's one in Johnstown, so there's 7. We just have 2 here. I did mean it.
I see that, thank you.
Mine are numbered today.
I don't have to move my chair now after election, do I? I get to stay here.
I'll let you know in January.
Kinda like this angle. This is my better side.
Keep it up, you'll be down.
Maybe.
I know, I see it. I'm trying to get this on first.
You probably want that on the end, don't you?
Yeah, sure. All right, I'll ask everyone to stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, welcome everybody. Let the minutes reflect that all council members are present except Crystal and Casey. First item of business on the agenda is the citizens forum. If there's any individuals from the community that would like to address the council, now would be the time to do so. We'll give it a couple minutes to let Facebook catch up as well. Close up, you guys are on the agenda. Don, you are too, so. In the meantime, I'll congratulate Kim and Josh and Casey who aren't here and getting reelected.
Thank you.
And then Scott Norquist is also got elected, and he'll take over for Crystal's seat come January. So. Okay. We'll move on to the consent agenda. We got a change on letter C, the accounts payable. Change that amount to $50,789.14. Again, 50, 789, period, 14. I need a motion to approve.
So move. Second.
Got a motion from Josh, second from Sean. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. On to the agenda. Under presentations, we're gonna scratch more engineering. They are not gonna be able to make it tonight. However, we do have letter A, close-up donation request. And then letter B, Norman County Fair Board donation request. And then under new business, letter F, we have a donation request from the Heart of the Valley Golf Course. Are there any additions or subtractions to the agenda? Heart of the Valley donation request.
You can take out then B and C under new business.
Okay, then take out B and C because we'll move those around. We'll get those guys out of here so they don't have to sit for the rest of the meeting. Any additions or subtractions? I need a motion.
So move.
Okay, I got a motion from Sean, second from Kim. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Close up. You guys can come up and sit or stand by Kim, whatever you're comfortable with, and introduce your guys' self and let us know what you're asking for.
I'm Callie.
I'm Maya.
And we're a part of Close Up. There will be 19 of us going to Washington, D.C. for 4 days and New York City for 3 days. And we will be in Washington, D.C. to learn about our government and the planning process of the government. And we will also be visiting the monuments, the museums, and also Capitol Hill.
Yes, and in New York City, we are going to look at the Statue of Liberty from a distance anyways, and then going to the 9/11 monuments and going to a live Broadway show, and then we'll come back those following days.
And just to clarify, they're asking for a $500 donation request,
Yes.
correct?
Yep.
Okay. I need a motion.
I'll make that a motion.
Okay,
I'll second that.
I got a motion from Kim, second from Sean. Any further discussion or questions?
I just wanna give you guys an updated budget where we're at.
That'd be great.
After last month, we're at 5,100 remaining. And we still have November and December's, funds to come in still as well, so.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Looking good for you, Don.
We got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Thanks, guys.
Have fun.
Thank you.
All right, Donnie, you're up next.
Simple. Okay, I wish I was going with those girls to. Just here for the fair board. We're got some projects we're working on. Now, last year, you guys at this time of year gave us a donation for our siding project. If you've been out there, we've sided the east side. It's sort of a Johnny Cash project. We're doing one side at a time. As Steve Euland has time to do it. So we got two sides done. But what this is for is we're hoping to put concrete in on the east side of the Coliseum with a handicap accessible, and then a new sidewalk all the way out to the road. So, and it's between a $20,000 and $25,000 project. So anything that you guys would help us out with would be great. We'd appreciate it. We've always had a good time, a good work relationship with the city. And, so anyway, that's what we're doing. And I believe we requested $1,000, which is a little more than normal, but this is a pretty big project too. So.
Yeah. I need a motion.
I'd make a motion for $1,000.
Okay, I got a motion from Mike.
I'd second that.
Okay, I got a second from Sean. Any further discussion or questions for Don? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Okay.
Motion passes.
Thank you guys.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Donnie.
You bet.
All right, moving on to mayor's report. Just one thing, Main Street Bar and Pub 21 are doing a New Year's Eve fish house party like they kinda did last year, so we need to approve a special permit for blocking off the street and outside liquor sales, of course. So I need a motion to approve that.
So move.
Okay, a motion from Josh,
Second.
second from Scott. Any further discussion, questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Administrator Clerk Treasurer's report.
When was that date for? I'm sorry.
New Year's Eve.
Oh, New Year's Eve. Okay.
Yep.
Department updates, I started the police department, our new patrol officer started this week, started on Monday. Had a accident his first night, so, or not him have an accident, was called to an accident on his first night. So he's been here the last 2 days, he has moved down, and, yesterday we went over all of his benefits, got him signed up for everything, so, everything's going well there. There's been a lot of updates in the department, as you guys have seen probably lately, with certain purchases or getting things so that our department has the equipment and the safety features of what they need. So we will be talking a little bit later on about some other items that we're hoping to use COVID funds from. But, and the other thing is the police vehicle, the main one, the big one, did hit a deer last week. So we are turning that into insurance. It'll be $5,000 deductible, it's $7,500, so $2,500 we'll have to pay for. Or we'll have to pay the $5,000, but we'll at least save. It does not go against us on our insurance or anything. But just so you guys know, it's still drivable. If you see it out there, it's still being used. So that'll be done. Liquor store, in last month we had $56,000 in sales, which were up about $6,000 from last year in the month of October. So, and last year we had a good year, we turned out, so if we can keep this up like we've seen most of the year of our sales being higher, I think we should have a pretty good year. Deco Center, I'm still trying to hire you guys. Brianna's right now teaching swimming lessons, lifeguarding, opening in the mornings. So we're struggling, and the biggest thing is obviously open swim, and having that open as much as possible, especially in the winter when there's not a lot of activities to do. So we're contemplating, and she's looking into it, and I'm looking into it on the insurance side, but we're contemplating like more family nights where we have waivers, so if you're with a parent or adult, you can swim similar to like what you would see at a hotel pool, so at least we can open that pool and let people come and swim with their families. So we're looking into that as an option. Obviously we gotta figure out all the details and liability and everything like like that, but we'd like to be able to open more often than the 2 days a week that we're open right now. So we're doing that. Volleyball league starts this week, actually tonight. So that's a pretty big event there at the Deco every Wednesday. Brings a lot of people in. And other than that, she's just doing swimming lessons. She did start a class for children. So 2 days a week, parents can come in, drop their kids off. She's teaching an activities class with the kids. She's got anywhere between 5 and 8 kids that come every time. So and the parents can work out for that hour or do what they want to do. And so that seems to be going pretty well. Public Works is getting ready for snow removal. Looks like tomorrow there might be some. Otherwise, they've continued with the brush hauling. I mentioned last week that they really cleaned up the compost site, so they've been working on that. And then they've been working on the underground wire. It's been a lot in town. So the other big thing is, and we'll talk about it later on, is another big water leak in town. Any questions on the departments?
No, the compost site looks really nice.
Yeah. Awesome.
Huge improvement. That's really good.
Was the water leak, was that fixable or fixed, or how's that?
Well, it's a water service. It's on First Street East, and it's our responsibility because it's outside of the sidewalk, and so we have to dig up the street, go under, to repair it. And we'll talk about this back in the committee updates.
Oh,
but
sure.
that's one of big thing
Okay.
that happened last week. So, any other questions on the departments? Okay. Union contract approval. John, Sean, and I met with the union 2 weeks ago. And actually we had a really good meeting. We were out of there in 2.5 hours.
Yep.
I think it went really well. I don't know what you guys felt, but
I think
You guys-
it was fair.
I think it was fair.
Yeah.
It's the first time, I don't know.
It went better than some years.
Yeah.
But I believe I put that in your guys' packet. Did I put the union negotiation?
You did.
It's
Yep.
Yeah. So those are just the only changes that happened. Obviously, the union contract itself is a lot bigger, but those are the changes that we implemented after that meeting. Again, we think it's fair. The union members all signed today, so they all agree with it, and now I just need council's approval on that, and that'll be for the next 3 years.
Keep this in mind too, it is very similar and almost mirrors what we did for the police department. So, you know, both departments and all the employees under the city's umbrella are very close. And again, we thought it was fair. 2.5 hours was a lot better than we were expecting, so it went good and everybody was civil and everyone left the room happy, so. I need a motion to approve the agreement between the city of Ada and the union.
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion from Josh. Second from Scott. Does anybody have any questions about it? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
All right, the next contract is so myself, Josh, and Casey met with Steve Hager and we went over his contract, and went back and forth and we came to terms. So I did send out an original contract, and then within the last couple days, I was approached by Steve to add an additional item to the contract. So I resent you guys a new contract today. I did speak with Josh and Casey on this both, and they agreed as well. So the new addition to the agenda, or to the contract, if you haven't already looked at it, is, currently we offer, $1,300 for all employees, up to $1,400 next year, towards everybody's health insurance premiums per month. Steve is electing that if he does not take a health insurance plan under the city of Ada, if he could have that he's requesting $500 to take and put towards his wife's plan that he's currently under. So he would waive our health insurance, and then he would get a stipend of $500 a month to be used towards his wife insurance.
You're okay with that?
Yes,
don't
I
think
would
it
have preferred it to go towards like an HSA or savings plan, but his wife doesn't have an HSA. It is saving the city a significant amount of money each month,
Yeah.
so we are saving. So I don't see the problem in doing something, and we have had similar contracts like this in the past with HUD departments. So yes, I would have rather have seen it go like us pay a HSA directly, but being that his wife doesn't have it, the $500 would be a stipend to him.
And I think
directly.
both Casey and I'll speak for Casey too, I think, but, I think we both looked at it as, you know, in the long run, it is really saving the city money, so. We kinda felt like it was kind of a wash, we both kind of agreed, I think that we'd prefer to see it go towards that, but.
Just because I just seen this afternoon, I guess my only question is, are we writing a check to Steve then, or are we writing a check to her health insurance?
Well, it would go to Steve and it runs through payroll, cause that's the only way we can cut it.
Yeah, cause he's gotta be taxed on it and all that stuff. I mean, he could, let's get realistic, he can use it wherever he wants.
But that's what I'm
But
saying,
what- I mean,
that's the
that's-
gray area, that he could technically use it wherever he wants.
But it's still taxable and.
That was my concern, is cause it just ends up being, in a sense, just giving them a.
Well, we're still
But-
saving
but-
900
but
bucks
we're
a
still-
I
month.
mean, we're still
but,
saving
Exactly.
money.
Yeah.
We'll just probably have to remember this when we do union negotiations in 3 years, because my guess is this will probably get brought up now.
That's what I'm wondering, is it gonna open, which, I mean, maybe it's a good thing. There's probably not a lot of people that fall under this category though.
I would, yeah, that's kinda what I think.
Any further discussion? Otherwise, I need a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve it.
Okay, I got a motion from Josh. Excuse me. Do I have a second?
That's Mike.
Second.
Mike, okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Alright, so this was another thing that came in today at about noon, so I don't have a lot of information for you guys, and I apologize, but I did send you guys, what Steve Petrie brought me in. So it's my understanding that the fire department right now currently does not have a water tank on the truck, correct? It's either,
There, but.
It's there, but it's not existing.
There's a hole in it.
okay. Okay, so my understanding is you guys have been looking into the replacement of this water tank that goes on the truck. So Steve brought me in it's a water truck, full water truck, not just the tank. And it's up for bid, coming up for bid, and, he would like us to discuss if we do approve it, an amount that the council is willing to allow him to go in as like a top tier for bidding, if this is something that we need.
I'd like to
So-
get the, public safety on this. I've heard of it briefly, I'm sure you guys have too. I'd like to get a little more info before we decide. I know that might mean we have to have a special meeting, but I think we have to. We don't know enough info yet, do we? You know, plus they gotta go look at it, they might,
You what?
We wouldn't be able to vote with us.
No.
oh, right.
I don't know, I know there was questions brought up, so right now, like, if we're not NFPA compliant, and if not having the water tank would hurt our ratings, so I'm not saying that we don't need to replace that water tank. I don't know if you guys can see this, it's clearly obviously an older truck. Obviously, it would do what needed to be done, but I don't know as far as the fire department goes,
I don't know either.
how it needs to be, or, you know, if this is a good option.
I think that's the questions we need to ask.
Okay.
Personally.
So this has not been brought up in a fire department meeting either yet?
So I would,
It was
fire's next Monday.
next Monday. Yeah.
Okay,
So,
so
I
then
mean,
you
it
guys will
probably
have discussion as this is what would be best.
I would assume it's gonna come up Monday.
I would think so.
We heard briefly about it the other night after the accident.
Okay,
You know what I mean? But I think it was hot off the press, let's say, you know what I mean?
it literally came to me at like 11:30
Yep,
today.
I think it was new
When
to
will
him
the
even.
bidding start on this thing? Is it got
It-
some time?
It
I mean-
closes December 5th,
There's
Oh,
time, but.
okay.
so we'd have to have a
So,
special session.
yeah.
Well, yeah.
I think we
guess
need to
if
go look,
it's-
I mean, they need
if
to go
it's-
look at it even, just to see. They might,
Yeah.
when they get there, it might be okay, maybe not, you know what I
So
mean?
the other thing,
Bids don't open till
do we
the
need,
12th.
like,
Oh, is
can
that
we
on
just
there?
do this, or do we need?
Oh,
couple
I'm
different
sorry, okay.
bids, or?
No,
No,
this is different,
This
cause
is
we're
different,
bidding on
right?
something.
Yeah, okay. That's what,
But, and
it'd be hard to find a similar thing.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking, yeah, that's what I thought.
So a couple things come to my mind, and Ashley and I talked about this afternoon. There's nothing I dislike more than stuff showing up on the agenda the day of our meetings, because we don't have enough time to process them.
That's what I think, yeah.
Second, this thing's 31 years old.
Yep.
25 grand's a whole ton of money. And 4, like we've talked about, the reason why we have these committees is so that that stuff can be channeled through those before it reaches this table. Not because we don't have time, but because we would like opinions of people that aren't sitting here. So I'm with you, Sean, if you wanna send this to the Public Safety Committee, and we can have a special session, because the 5th, December 5th, when the bids are due, is the Monday, the day before our next meeting, so we would have to have one the week
Oh.
before.
Yeah.
You know, the week after Thanksgiving, which is doable, and maybe we can group a couple other things on there, so we're not sitting up here for 2 minutes talking about one item.
Right.
But,
And I'm guessing if we can get talking about it Monday night at Fireman's, it can go to public safety, hopefully next week.
next week.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then we can bring it whenever we decide, you know.
The main thing I want to know, I mean, I know it was an estimate, but I wanna know life expectancy of it. You know, I mean, if, I understand that the idea is we need to replace a tank, I'm not saying that that doesn't need to happen.
Yeah.
But that would be the big thing, is the life expectancy of it, and then, yes, if somebody is going to actually, I'm assuming somebody would wanna go check it out and make sure it's in, I know that,
I think it should be, so.
Yeah,
Truck
I
and
think it should be
see,
looked
yep.
at before Monday if we could, but I'm sure that's
Right.
gonna be impossible.
it's by
with weather.
Duluth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, and then the other thing is, you know, looking into, so, according to Steve, he thought that you guys could probably sell the flatbed truck and make anywhere between 8 and 10 grand off of it, so that needs to be something that maybe you guys discuss and see if that is actually a realistic number for that vehicle.
sure.
Because obviously if we could get something in trade-in and value, then we can put that money towards whatever we're purchasing.
And we're talking COVID dollars, I'm guessing here?
Yes, I would use COVID funds for this.
Okay, just so-
Or I would
just so people
suggest
know.
that we use
Right.
COVID
Okay,
funds for
yep.
this.
so I think I got a motion from Sean to send it to the Public Safety Committee.
I'll
Yeah.
second that.
I got a second from Scott. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Okay, Kaleidoscope, Crystal and Mike for tomorrow at 9. Mark called me this afternoon, he's not gonna be there, so, it'll be you and Kevin.
Okay,
And, I'll message Crystal after this, if she can't make it, I'll join you.
yeah, that's fine, otherwise it's no big deal.
Okay.
Make it.
Right in front of you guys, Ashley set in front of you the utility bills and other outstanding invoices sent to the assessor. Please don't say the names on camera, but the amounts, I'll let Ashley talk about it.
So these are outstanding bills that either we don't foresee them getting paid up this year, or the tenants have left. So the total amount that we'd like to assess to the Norman County to get hopefully put back onto their property taxes for 2023 is $13,812.59. If in the time being, so I will submit this to the assessor's office here now after this meeting, if in the time being they get paid between now and then, they'll be removed. But otherwise, this is the amount that will get sent. So if you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 properties. Whether it's utilities or mowing, cause we do charge for if we have to mow, and that's all part of our ordinances, so this is standard practice, it's not anything we haven't done in the past. So I just need a motion and approval of this, and then if there is anything on there that you guys see that you don't want to for some reason, or have a question about a specific property, you're welcome to ask. But otherwise, I will need approval to send that to the county.
I'll make a motion to send the full amount to county assessor.
I'd second that.
Okay, I had a motion from Josh and a second from Sean. Any further questions for Ashley? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Committee updates, Public Works.
We did not have people there, it was Halloween night. but we do have this fuel tank, and we'll talk about that later now.
Yeah.
Probably
Let's
later.
talk about the water service break
Yep,
first.
so the water service break, unfortunately, I'm bringing it to you guys, but it's not something that we cannot fix, we have to fix it. We've had, this is our third one this year that we've had.
It's not even winter.
No, and part of this, I mean, we are looking at this big project, you know, with more engineering, part of it is hopefully gonna help with some of this stuff. But yeah, an estimate from Vissers is about the 7,000 to 8,000 to repair, and that does not include the asphalt that we have to put on top. As of now, it'll probably be gravel until spring,
Yeah.
put on top.
Are they gonna fix the other side of that street at the
We
same
did
time?
not discuss that, but,
Okay.
I mean,
We
we
probably
can,
should,
at the
right?
time, we can discuss that, yeah. So anyways, that's more just for you guys' awareness that, because it is over the $5,000 mark, but unfortunately, that's something we have to do. And then the fuel tank, I know that it's been discussed before, and I brought it back. So I sent you guys some numbers that Brian gave me today. And so if you guys remember, we leased a fuel tank, and after we leased it, we were told that we had to go with that specific business to fill it. Sean, do you wanna talk more about this a little bit? I know you guys talked about this one in
yeah.
the meeting.
Just because,
Yeah.
That particular business was outbid, I guess you could say, we had a better price from another company, which was a good amount of money. And it sounds like they didn't honor that anymore. So, to have that option, they'd like to just buy it out. You guys can see in the paperwork there, it's about 60 cents a gallon right now at this price. You know, obviously that can go up and down. It's obviously never gonna be what pump price is. You're always gonna save this tax and stuff like that on there. So I think minimum is like 28 cents automatically, you're always gonna save. So you're never gonna be going the other way, I guess, with this. I guess if it was me, I think we should buy it out, and then we can choose who we wanna put fuel in with. If you look at the number, it's like $5,800. Rough math, that's like what, 2.5 years, a little over 2 years. 2 years if you use that price. Let's say 2.5, because you don't know what the price is gonna be. It pays for itself. It seems like a
Well, you got this
Win-win.
kind of the same savings too for the school too, right?
right.
Pretty
Yep.
much so? The
Yeah.
pumps? Yeah.
Right, yep. And I think that's where he's going with this too. And they've had these tanks for a while, just so everybody knows, but it's just, sounds like the gentleman agreement just maybe wasn't so gentleman agreement. Whatever, that is what it is, you know what I mean? Maybe it switched hands or somebody, you know, didn't
So
honor
these
it.
tanks are already, or this tank is already out there?
We already have it and we're leasing it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So
so
just to
this,
basically buy out the lease for
Correct.
$5,900.
Yeah.
this $5,800 is, what's left from this lease. Just so you know,
It's
this
like a lease
1,000-gallon
bill.
tank now, brand new, is probably pushing $8 or $9 grand.
Okay.
Just so you know.
How old is the tank?
A year.
Yeah,
Okay.
they've only had it, just had it, yep.
What's the lease per month or year?
I know what ours is at the school, I don't know what his is,
I
but,
can go look.
but it's a different company.
Sure. I asked the age just so we don't run into this in a couple of years that we have to replace the tank. And then the lease number just to,
Yeah.
Yeah, that,
Understand.
That was my question,
It's
how
a-
old
it-
is the tank?
it's a
20
double walled
Yeah,
tank,
it's a double
it's a
walled
year,
tank,
I mean,
yeah.
yeah, it should last
A long
a
time.
long time.
Yeah.
Obviously, the only
It's
that's
only
gonna-
a year old, why that's.
The only thing that's gonna go bad, you're gonna have hoses that break, and you're gonna have nozzles that break, and eventually a pump will go out, but that's
So
just
we were
maintenance.
originally leasing to own, so
Correct.
eventually we would pay for it, obviously.
Yeah.
Brian and they're just asking to pay it
it's
out.
probably a 5-year plan or something. so
Yeah,
call it 40,
something
It's
like-
probably a 5 to 10
I gotta-
year,
I
or
can
year
double
plan,
check,
whatever,
but-
yeah.
We're not locked in.
Otherwise, we would, what my understanding, and I'm sure Brian's told you this, is we would give up this then, and we would give up the tank, I think he's
Right.
thinking.
Yeah, and then, well, let's get realistic, then we lose the money that we've just paid for in
Yeah.
a year. You know, so now if we get a new tank, plus they're more money. You know, they're, like I say, they're $8,000 to $9,000 now, cause we just got one.
So while Ashley's looking this up, would it be ideal if the police department uses the same tank to fill?
Well, this is diesel.
This is
It's
This
We
is
don't-
diesel
actually,
only.
this is
Yeah.
off-road.
We don't have,
Okay.
we don't have, like a normal gas tank, and so that's something that I know we've talked about, maybe looking into maybe next year or something, purchasing if we have the funds left.
Yeah.
Or renting. if we need,
Or
you know,
renting,
whatever.
yeah, but I know
Then
we've
you're
talked
stuck
about
with the
this.
one
Mhm.
company again, you know?
Yeah, but no, this is,
It's nice to have both of them being able to bid, or whoever.
Mhm.
Well, we had this discussion before about what the cost of the tank was. Where were we gonna get the funds out of?
Brian said he had funds somewhere,
he has funds in his capital outlay.
Yeah, that's what I thought he
Okay.
said.
He's got $6,500 left in his capital outlay, under streets.
Is that,
Where was that
It's
water
for
service
equipment.
break money going to come from?
That's probably gonna come from just water and sewer,
cause it's
or well,
water?
that'll come
It
from
has
water
to.
and sewer.
It has to, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
not from streets, even though I understand we're replacing the street, it comes from,
It's not that big a deal.
okay.
Okay,
I'll get back on the monthly payment. I can't open it right now.
I'm guessing it's around $125 or $150 a month.
Yeah, something.
It should be somewhere around there.
It's not a large amount.
I'll make the motion to approve, the purchase of, or purchasing the remainder balance of the tank.
okay, got a motion from Josh. Okay, a second from Scott. Can we request bids from the different fuel companies in the area then?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now
That's
you,
the
now you
point of
really
it.
can open up to
That's what I mean,
anybody.
but
You can put it in
are
the
you gonna
paper
put
and
an
get
RFP
bids, yeah.
out, or?
Well, every time that he fills the tank, he gets bids from all of the area ones.
He does
and
it already.
he picks the lowest.
Okay.
And that's where this came up, is that
Yep.
when he was finding out that the company that we currently have it with was much higher than others, but he wasn't allowed to purchase their fuel.
Okay, so we're
So
leaving.
that's where it came
We're
from.
leaving Brian with the discretion to go with the
Yes.
cheapest price, obviously.
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay, I got a motion from Josh and I got a second from Scott, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Public safety.
I was not there.
Steve brought up my notes here. Okay. Petrie made a comment that we did not get the FEMA grant for the turnout gear or whatever. So then they're talking about maybe getting another grant writing, maybe involve the new truck or different kind of a truck or something like that, if this grant comes through again. And, apparently he's supposed to go on the chief conference last Tuesday or whatever it was in Duluth. And he was gonna check on some tanks or whatever at that time too, or water trucks or whatever, and see what was available and stuff. And haven't even talked to him. And then the other discussion we had was about the radios with the police department. So,
So it was my understanding from what Steve kind of relayed to me is after our last council meeting that we had, before that last council meeting, there was a public safety meeting where you guys did approve, one of the bids, and I got the minutes, and it said that it
We
was
did,
approved.
yeah,
Okay,
Right.
so last
Two
council
meetings.
meeting, yeah,
meetings
two
ago,
meetings
yeah.
ago, it was approved.
right.
So I sent you guys both the bids, obviously the cheaper bid was the one, here. And so what was the total price here?
22,511.
22,511.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's, and the public safety board approved that one
Correct.
from your guys' discussion, correct?
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay, so with that being said, if we wanna purchase them as as a city council, I mean, obviously, we've talked about using COVID funds, would be my suggestion, if we wanna do it. We have about 70 grand left in our COVID funds, we do have money available to purchase these radios.
Just so everybody
did-
knows, the radios they're at their life expectancy.
Yeah.
They're getting rough.
So then it's my understanding that this is, like 4 radios, 2 in the office, 2 in each patrol car,
Everything.
everything.
It's
Yeah.
all, it'll all be together, yep.
Yeah,
And portables too, wouldn't it?
Yes.
yeah,
Yep. It's basically to put new radios in everything that they have.
You guys asked the turnaround time on this?
Well, that kinda depended on the availability, yeah. Sounded like the sooner we get it ordered, the sooner it gets in. So, from 2 meetings ago that I was at.
Yeah.
So I need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I got a motion from Sean,
Second it.
second from Kim. Any further discussion from the guys on the Public Safety Committee? Again, these funds will come from the COVID fund in the amount of $22,511.12.
Was this the install price, or was this just the purchase?
I looked and I'm not seeing installed anywhere.
Yeah, that was my question, is what, I'm sure there's gonna be a
That's a good
installation
question.
cost.
I guess I've never seen the word install on any of that.
No, that's what I was just looking for.
What I do know, we do have Motorola's now.
If it's just plug in.
If it's just plug in, that's a good question. I can't answer that, I guess.
Something I just noticed now and
Yep.
was curious about.
I don't see that anywhere, so you'd hate to assume, but, yeah, I don't know.
I see programming but not installing.
Yeah.
That's what I saw.
You'll be what,
Yeah.
installing the two vehicles, right?
Yeah, you would
He
sure
doesn't
think
answer
the
that.
base units are just unplug it
Yeah.
and set it down.
Well, not really. If you think about Apple, how many times they've changed their charging units.
That's true.
So,
Because the radios aren't new in the squad. Just see, they're not.
Cause
just
if we have
couple
to have a
years old.
certain company come up and install these,
Yeah.
like if Stones comes up or whatever, that's gonna be a,
$5,000.
A couple.
It's, yeah.
Okay, I texted Steve to ask, cause I actually don't know that answer either, so if we wanna wait just
We
a
could-
second on that one, and then the other one I just added is he was in, he said yes.
Okay, so
It
that's
doesn't-
installed. So
okay.
I got a motion from Sean, second from Kim. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, so he also said you guys had just some discussion on a pepper spray gun,
We did. That was 2 weeks. That was 2
yes,
times.
2 times ago,
But we still don't have a price on it.
yeah, it's
That's-
$1,021.
Okay, that's what
Yeah.
we were waiting for, the exact price. 'Cause
Okay.
He needed, I can't remember, he was buying some bundle or some, whatever came with it, you know what I
Okay.
mean, like,
So he
the
told me
balls or the-
today that it was $1,021 for that.
okay, cause he told us around $1,000 if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, he did.
But you guys didn't make a decision on it at
no,
that
no.
meeting?
I think we kinda told him, go ahead and do it.
Right,
You did,
Yeah.
okay.
Since
We
it
were
was
okay
only
with it. We just-
$1,000.
we just had to, he needed a firm number, it was his around $1,000.
Okay,
wasn't
yeah, it
very-
was $1,021. So if we do that, I mean, again, I would like to ask for it through COVID funds versus the normal budget, but it's up to you guys. If not, then he can wait till after the new year and use his normal budget as well to do it. Cause they have a normal budget that they can utilize every year, so it's up to you guys on that one. And I believe, I can find that, I believe we approved $6,000 to be in his capital outlay budget for next year.
I know that there's gonna be I know there's gonna be some things that, are gonna need to be purchased for that department to try and catch up for,
Yeah,
lost time. So I think we should just go ahead and do it out of the
are we,
COVID if we can.
What was in the COVID funding?
are we running short, like, let's say this
We have
does
70
let's say
grand.
this pans out with
Less
this.
22.5.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just saying if this pans out with the fire truck and then this
We'd
and that,
still have
just
about-
making sure we're
Yeah,
not,
you'd still have about 30-40 grand left to use towards a
whatever,
tank or whatever.
okay, just number wise.
I have asked the departments consistently over and over again, do you guys have items? And I haven't gotten any response from other departments yet. I mean, the fire department, I know we've talked about a generator, but at what the generator
Yeah.
costs, I don't think that at this point we're able to
Even look at it.
even look at that.
And it's public safety is what these COVID dollars, is not what I understood, like they're,
It's
They
pretty
can be
broad.
used, it's very broad, but
Okay.
yeah, it can be used towards public safety. It can be used towards certain infrastructure projects as well, but it's really geared towards more like technology, infrastructure versus like water, sewer,
That'll-
electric, that kind
that'll
of
warm
stuff.
me.
Yeah. But like if we don't wanna use COVID funds, he can wait till 2023 and use his own budget, it's under 5,000, so he's able to do that. So if we don't wanna use COVID funds, that's fine too, it's your guys' decision.
We just talking about one gun,
Yeah,
right?
$1,000.
it's
$1,029.
one of them just non-lethal, just to have another option. I think, just kinda the new world, I guess, let's say.
We don't need a motion, we just need some guidance from
Yeah.
Ashley since it's under $5,000. Where do you guys want her to take
I
the money
would
from?
say, just get it out of COVID right now and use it up.
Order, it,
I'd say-
yeah, order it before it gets more expensive.
Yep.
Okay,
Well, yeah.
Okay,
okay,
okay, beautification committee,
oh,
We didn't have a meeting in October, or there wasn't one
No.
scheduled. Or is it-
Yep.
But tomorrow there will be one, yeah.
right,
Supposed to be tonight, but.
Yeah.
Oh.
so the bike, the only thing that I have is, Brianna's asking if we can roll this over, so they made a profit of $1,593, at their bike rodeo this year. That was through donations and things they got. They'd like to roll it over to next year, so they can use that when they plan the event. This event that we throw each year is not supposed to raise revenue. We're not doing it to raise revenue, but we happen to make money off of it. And so with that being said, instead of utilizing it as revenue for the Deco Center, she's wondering if we can move it over and then next year not having to get as many donations to hold the event.
See why not?
no,
Yeah, that's okay, right?
Okay.
I
Yeah.
don't see why not, yeah.
okay, we're all good with that. EDA,
We didn't meet
We
this
didn't
month
meet?
either.
so then, letter F, HOV donation request, you guys all have a letter in front of you. Talk about that, Ashley, I don't think they asked for an amount, do they?
Yeah, it's 500, I think, is what they don't ask for a specific amount, no.
In the letter, yeah.
No, but this is their annual, banquet that they hold to help raise money for the golf course, their annual supper that they do, and they're asking for $500 to contribute to their, they put on a big supper and they also grab donations for
Don't we
auction.
do this every year?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'll make the motion to, do a $500 donation to Heart of the Valley Golf Club.
Second.
Okay, I got a motion from Josh and a second from Sean, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Need a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Okay, I got a motion from Josh and a second from Kim, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, so meeting is adjourned.